In the first part of our tape, we're going to start with basic footwork and position. If you're right-handed, we're going to go with your left leg in front, and vice versa if you're left-handed. Basically what I want to do is I want to support myself on my back leg, my base leg, by positioning myself feet open, shoulder width, and you're not standing on a squared off, you're not standing sideways. You've got a happy medium in between the middle here. You want to keep your elbows in, chin down. Keep your hands by the sides of your eyebrows. So you've got the majority of the weight on the ball of your right foot, your base leg. Almost like you're leaning in forward. From this angle, it looks as the back of my head. I'm leaning forward. Someone would extend their arm. My weight's positioned on my back foot. We're going to start here with the jab. First punch. You're starting straight out. Make sure that your shoulder is covering your chin, so your head is down with your traps almost flexed straight up. So you're relaxed in this position though. You're not clinched. Breathing through your nose. You have a clear vision here between your arms. Don't hold your hands in front of your face. You want to go from here, jab. Exhale when you let the punch go through the nose. Keep your mouth clamped down on your mouthpiece. You want the punch to be coming from the hip and the shoulder. You don't want to rotate your foot. From here, we're going to go jab, cross, cross. You want to put weight on the ball of that toe and turn your right hip into the punch. Cross, cross. Again, your right shoulder is protecting your chin straight down in the middle. Cross. Notice my hip is rolled into the punch. Cross. But my foot does not come off the floor. It stays on the floor. I just roll and put the hip. Cross. Cross. On the bag, it looks just like this. Jab, cross. With the basic foot position, you should feel well balanced, very stable. Your feet are flat. You never want to be up on your toes. Too much energy out of you. From here, you could go all day, breathing through your nose. Now, from here, you can close up anything on defense with the wall. Elbows touch knees. You're blocking any body kicks or leg kicks with your shin bone. That's defense from the basic stance. And remember, we're going from a right-handed stance with your left leg in front, your lead leg. And now, from that basic foot position stance, with your left leg still in front, we're going to go into basically your balance. Supporting yourself still from a flat-footed position with your lead leg and base leg. Lead leg in front, base leg in back. Now, we started with the punching, coming from the hips. We also went from the same stance to defense. Now we can work in here from that same foot position, using angles, just turning to keep your balance, getting yourself out of the line of fire. So, from standing toe to toe, all you'd have to do is put pressure on the ball of your lead leg and turn your back foot behind you. Now you're no longer standing in front of your opponent. You're on an angle. It can go either way. You just turn on the ball of your toe, putting pressure and turn like you're putting out a cigarette. Wing your back foot behind you. Angles. Make sure that when you switch the foot position and the weight, that you go from lead leg and you put the weight back in the back leg. I prefer to move to my left. It's easier, but when you move to your left, you got to make sure you cover with your left hand. Otherwise, you're going to be going straight into someone's cross. That basic foot position starts and is the most important thing in Muay Thai, due to the fact that if you have no good foot position, you can't let off any counters offensively or defensively. You need your balance. We're going to go to the bag now. We'll start with the basic foot position, keeping the weight on my back foot towards the ball, not up on the toe though. From here, we'll go jab, cross, 1, 2, and then off the punch, I turn, using an angle. Now I'm no longer standing straight in front of the bag anymore. I'm dimensional. Now I can move side to side. So, keeping your hands up, keeping the basic foot position we started with, we're going to go into leg kicks. Leg kick, going to the thigh, or to the person's crease on their shorts. Basically what you want to do is you want to separate the muscle of the quadricep with your shin bone. Muscle against bone. Bone against muscle. What you're trying to do here is inflict a pain factor. So, the easiest way to do it is stand next to your bag and notice exactly where your thigh would be. You want to hit about the middle. Now with your shin bone, your base leg starting first. We'll start with back leg. Drive your knee forward and turn. So that now your foot is parallel and your leg is parallel with the floor. Your chin is down. Your right arm, since we're using your right leg, is extended out towards the bag. Left palm is open, covering my face. My left foot is turned open. Going back to the leg kick. When I started, my left leg, toes facing towards the target. As I let the kick go, I turn my hip and my foot. Leg kick. I'm trying to get my shin bone across someone's thigh. From the basic foot position, right leg kick. Pivot your foot, your left foot on the ball. Slightly bend your knee and try to focus on turning your hip down towards the floor, like you were swinging an axe, and it's going down. Leg kick. Leg kick, using right leg. Remember, the basic foot position, you have the majority of your weight on your back leg. As you kick, pivot your front foot. Pivoting, a key factor here, because off any kick, you have to pivot. Now, it's a lot easier when you use the ball of your toe. That's the front, not the heel. The heel is the back. Use the ball of the front, like you're putting out a cigarette. The most important thing next to the stance and the foot position is relaxing. You want to feel relaxed in anything you do here, because if you're not, you're tensing your muscles and you're feeling too stressed. You overexert your muscles. So relax. When you go to go right leg kick, remember, you're trying to focus on cutting the bag in half or separating the muscle. Right leg kick. Now you can set it up with jab, right leg kick. Jab. Make sure your feet stay flat on the floor. Right leg kick. Using the angles that we started with. Jab, right leg kick. Angle. Still in the basic foot position. My weight is on my back foot. My elbows are rested in, not out. In. My head is protected. So, from the basic foot position we started, here, jab, cross, defense, blocking, leg kick and body kick, the wall, defense, and we've gone into right leg kick, or your base leg kick. Make sure though, when you kick, you get that hip to turn. That's the most important thing. Getting the hip movement. Shifting your hips. It's not how fast you can swivel your leg or how high you can kick your leg or how much you can stretch. It's how much you can throw your hip into the move. So from there we can go into left leg kicking or lead leg kicking. Your lead leg should be the leg that's in front. Since I'm right-handed, I'm using my left leg. From here, your lead leg is now like your jab, your left hand. It's in front. It's leading you into the fight. Just like this. We're going to go inside thigh kick. Against your opponent, you're using your left leg. You're going to use your shin bone, again, to the inside of your opponent's thigh. From the basic foot position where we started from, put the pressure on the ball of your right toe. Now, you're going to kind of raise up on your toe, so you're using more now, more of your calf muscle to push, because you want to pivot as you let the left leg go. So normally you would be almost a little flat on that back foot with the weight back there. Now you're kind of raising up so you can pivot. You're going to need that pivot, keyword here, to turn that foot. Pivot and kick. Common mistake, people lean back or they let their hands go. If you do that and at the same time your opponent moves forward, you're in a bad position. Keep your elbows in, inside, leg kick, and then you can angle. Angle, just put the weight on the ball of your lead foot and turn your foot back. Turn your base leg back. Again, from the basic foot position, inside leg kick. Put your foot down, pivot. Remember, keep your elbows in, keep your head down. You're looking forward. On the back, it looks just like this. Inside leg kick. I put the pressure on the ball of my base leg and roll. Pivot. Again, it's coming from my hip. So into a combination, I could go jab cross, left leg, right leg. I can pivot and use an angle. Now I'm no longer standing in front of my opponent. I'm dimensional. Inside leg kick is an effective kick like the jab. Your leg is longer though than your arm. So you can shut off an opponent moving forward or break up his rhythm with your inside leg kick. From there we can go body kick. From the basic foot position. From here, we've gone from the basic foot position. From the right-handers, left leg in front. From here, I've shown you that you can throw just about anything in your arsenal. Now we can start adding to your arsenal. Your defense, which goes back to the wall, is knee against elbow, closing up the whole space here. So your shin bone and your elbow here are blocking you. Notice you have to have good foot position. With the weight centered on the back foot, you're here. Your foot position should be solid so that you can let off anything, if it's offensively or defensively. We've gone into the jab. We've gone into the cross. We've already worked our way into the leg kick, working off of the pivots and the motion of your hip. We've gone inside leg kick with your left leg, your lead leg. Now what we can do is we can go into using those angles a little bit and the pivoting of the foot, moving your body with the basic foot position. So you're no longer standing toe-to-toe with your partner or your opponent. You're putting pressure on the ball of your lead leg now and pivoting your toe. So you're moving around. Continuously, you'd be moving into one like circle. So you're moving. You're not moving backwards and forwards anymore. Your feet always are going to stay open. Left leg in front, right leg in back. Keep it almost like you're leaning into the middle here, into the pocket with your hands just like this. Keep your elbows in against your body. Keep your right hand touching right here. So at any moment, if you need to let your cross go, you can let it go. Key here in the basic foot position is you want to keep your head in the middle. A loose neck can get you in a lot of trouble because you move where your head goes. So you want to keep your head in the middle, keeping your chin down. So, focus on keeping the chin down. As you let those punches go, or the kick, I always keep my head right in the center, eyes looking forward at the target. You never want to take your eyes away from the target or the opponent. Basic foot position again. Head's in the middle, weight on the back foot, almost like I'm leaning in towards the bag. If I was to go leg kick, my head never moved. It stayed in the middle. The weight stayed on the back foot. And it's almost like I'm taking baby steps as I move forward or backward. If I move forward, I step with my left leg forward, sliding my right foot behind me. So if at any time I need to push on my back foot, it's right there for me to push. Key here, not to roll over your back foot. Common mistake people do because they don't have the developed base calf muscle yet, or your back leg. So, key here, when throwing punches or kicks, put the weight on your back foot and slide. So you're always taking a step and a slide, never walking. Basic foot position. Moving backward, same thing. If you want to move back, make your right leg or your back leg step, slide, step, slide, step, slide, step, slide. That way you're always keeping weight on your feet. You stay balanced and positioned right. From here we can go into anything you'd like, starting with just about punching, kicking, kneeing, elbowing. From here, the basic foot position. Now we can go into other things as far as offensive body attacks. Now we're going back to the basic foot position. From there, we've gone into moving your feet on an angle. We've gone into attack, punching. We've gone into leg kick with your base leg and your lead leg. Now we're going to try to make sure that the most important thing you can remember is the foot position here. Keeping yourself stable and balanced with your feet open, shoulder width. Remember, you're not squared off and you're not standing sideways. You want your lead leg, your left leg, if you're right-handed, to be facing forward. Your back leg is cocked open on a slight angle, so your feet are open shoulder width. Now my left leg, my toes are pointing forward. My right are cocked open a little bit, so they're not facing forward, they're not facing completely to one side, right in the middle. The majority of my weight's on my back foot. Now the key to the Muay Thai stance is trying to stay relaxed and stay forward. You don't want to be tall, up high, even if you are tall. You want to try to stay low and compact without clinching up and staying real tight. Relaxed and in the middle. Remember, the head stays right in the center. So your chin is right down from your belly button. Your eyes are always looking forward on your opponent or on the bag. From here, key here, keep those elbows tucked in. Don't let them flare open. Basic foot position. We'll move into moving around the bag and weight transfer on the feet. Coming from a right-hander's foot position, left leg in front, we're going to try moving to the left. Just pivot on the ball of your left toe, putting weight on the ball. Pivot. Pull your back foot around you like you're a door opening. Be careful that you don't drop your left hand or open because you're moving into the cross. So now you're no longer standing in one spot. You're transferring the weight from back foot to front foot so you can turn yourself. The key here, since you started in the basic foot position, the weight stays back. As you turn, moving your hips and your shoulders, you want to make sure that you keep the weight moving forward or backward. So your weight's in the back. I want to move. I'm going to shift it forward and turn myself, turning my hips, pulling my shoulder back. I'm here. When I move forward, I step and slide the back foot. Step, slide the back foot. Your base leg is important. And once you start to train a little bit longer, you'll realize that your base leg, the calf muscle here, starts to develop more than your lead leg, due to the fact that you're putting most of your weight on your back leg every time you go in your stance. So, keeping that weight back there, you got to remember not to overemphasize putting too much pressure on your toe. If you're up on your toe, go flat. Flat, just keeping the pressure on the toe, like a pedal. You're not flooring it, you're just putting pressure on the toe. Okay, this is our basic foot position. From here, I've let you guys realize that you can go from anything. Offense, defense, angles. This is the most important of this series. This will be the most important part. Now remember, baby steps as you move. You want to move forward, step your front leg forward, slide your back leg. You want to move backward, step your back leg back, slide your front foot backward. Whichever way you're moving, move that foot first and slide the other one behind it. When moving forward towards your opponent or towards the bag, make sure that you keep your head and your neck centered down in the middle. Your hands and elbows are just like this, and you're moving forward. If at any time you need to put pressure on the back leg to let a punch go, you're right there. Common thing people do is let their head drop in. If you let your head drop in, your foot comes off. Now you can no longer follow. You want to make sure that you always keep those feet flat on the floor, not up on your toes. Otherwise, you might get cramping. Stay relaxed, stay flat until you need to use your calf muscles, going up on the toes. From here, we can go into any move, offensively or defensively, from perfect foot position, balanced, relaxed. Head's covered, weight on the back. Now you're just waiting. From here, we can go into just about anything you need to go into. If it's close, neck grappling. If it's distance, you can go into leg kicking, body kicking. As long as you have the weight on the feet, majority on the back foot, ready to let yourself go at any time. Keeping the head down in the center. Key here. So, when attacking the bag, you always keep your hips open. Don't let your knees get in the middle. If you kick and you feel like your knees are coming too close together, then you're in bad foot position. When you started your foot position, you remember that your legs were open. That's the way you want to keep them. Due to the fact that when you let the kick off, you need that space open for stability. If you kick and you're kicking out this way, you're not pivoting your foot. You need to pivot your left foot, your lead leg, on the ball. So, on the bag, going from the basic foot position to the right leg kick. Breaking it down really simple. Keep this part open. Keep your head in the middle. And rotate your hips over your foot. You're just trying to get that shin bone across the thigh. Shin bone, thigh. Now remember that the pivot and the twist of your hips should go in sync. Exhale to get the air out of your diaphragm and your... When I go for the kick, I'm trying to get my whole twist of the hips and the pivot of the foot at the same time. what I'm going to try to do is extend my right arm, if it's a right leg kick, and block myself with my left. My head's still forward, my chin's still down in the middle. I'm now blocked. On the bag, it would be just like this. Right leg kick. Out of the basic foot position. I never let my feet get too close together. I never kicked and stepped forward. If you do that, you transfer the weight from the lead leg to back leg. Now you have no power hand. And you're too close. So if you're right-handed, keep your left leg in front and start from that position. If you start to try to switch, you're switching power in your hands now. Now you're telling the stronger hand, if you're right-handed, it's in front. The weaker hand is in back. It's a lot harder to start off this way. I would recommend starting with your right hand or your power hand in back. So from that basic foot position, you started just like this. We've gone into inside leg kicks, right leg kicks, right crosses, left jabs, defense, the wall. All with my left leg in front and my right leg in back. Most of the weight staying on the back towards the ball, the front part of my toe. I've gone into numerous movements, all while keeping that base solid. Important. Now, make sure you're not completely flexed out and locked out on the knees. Slightly bent. Elbows in, resting against the body. Chin down in the middle, and hands against the eyebrows. That's your basic foot position. Now, breaking down the foot position, the basic foot position, down and breaking it down even a little bit more here. We're going on the movement and the balance and the base, positioning of your feet. So, moving forward on the bag or on your opponent, when leading with your left leg in front, step and slide the back foot. Key here, never let your feet get away from you. If you've got one foot here and one foot spread too far apart, you're now in an awkward position and you can't center your weight. Keep your weight down right in the middle so you know where your center's at. Breaking down the basic foot position even more for you now. Key here, make sure your feet never get away from you. When leading with your left leg in front from the right-handed foot position, make sure that you're stepping and sliding, always keeping pressure, like you're working pedals here. You're using the floor for your balance, sending your weight over your hips. This is important because your hips are what's moving you. It's not how strong your legs are, it's how much you can get the thrust of your hips. That comes from the center, the base you started with, your basic foot position. For right-handers, the left hand, left leg is in front. Now you're almost showing a little left shoulder as you lead in, so that your shoulders are protecting your chin in the middle. Key here, remember, don't close up your face with your hand. You can no longer see your opponent in front of you. If he hits you, you'll hit yourself first. So keep the hands against the eyebrows like you're on the phone. With the basic position here, I'm moving forward. Weight on the back foot, I lead with my front leg and slide the back leg. Never letting my feet go too far away from me. You don't want to be caught in the sprawled position like this. Keep the weight over the hips. Keep the chin down in the middle, always. Keeping your eyes forward, not looking down at the floor. If you start the move and you're looking head down towards the floor, you don't realize it, but you're pulling your body weight over your feet. Bad position, bad spot to be in. So keep your head down. Keep your eyes forward. Key here, when I say keep your chin down, don't go like this. Keep your head forward. Just keep the hands up. A lot of people think that when I say keep the hands up, they think if you can see your hands in front of you, they're up. If you can see the tops of your hands, they're too low. You want to keep your hands by your eyebrows, up here. Keeping the elbows in. If your elbows flare open, you're leaving your body for openings to be attacked. You can no longer get any power off the punches because now the power is coming from your elbow. So keep the elbows in. Keep the weight over the hips. Keep the feet flat. Keep your feet open, shoulder width. Now depending on your shoulder, if they're broad, you're going to be able to tell by looking at your shoulders how far your feet need to be open. Now the majority of the weight should be on the back leg, almost like you're leaning forward. If you put too much pressure on your front leg, on your lead leg, you're susceptible for leg kicks, outside or inside. And it'll be harder to let the punches go. You want to keep the majority of the weight on the back foot. If you need to block, majority of the weight's on the back foot, you can easily pick up your front leg because the weight's back. If you have too much weight on your front leg to start with, when you go to block, you're going to have to shift back and then pick it up. It takes way too much time. This way, you've got the power in the back hip and on the back leg. All you need to do is push to let it go. If you want to kick, same thing. Coming from the hip, tip your switch. Always keeping the feet open. Moving forward. Almost like you're dragging a club with you. Remember, don't roll over the toes. If you roll over the toes, you can't push off on the same time because you have to roll over and set back. So keep the weight on the ball of the toe and push like you're working a pedal. You're just sliding it. You're sliding it. You've got one leg in front, one leg in back. The leg in front is your lead leg. The leg in back is your base leg. You're keeping the base, the weight on that leg. Keeping the feet open, shoulder width. So you feel nice and solid. From here, someone could come and push you. You wouldn't want to fall over to any side. You're planted, almost like you're rooted into the floor. From that basic foot position, I've shown that you can go to just about anything you need to go to. From there, you've got everything. You've got every tool you need. Now it's just building your arsenal. Now, still using on the basic foot position from the right-handed stance. Your left leg is in front. Your hands are up. Now, many martial arts, they're using the side, almost Taekwondo style, where you're sideways. From here, though, you can't really defend yourself due to the fact that you're going to have to turn back to block, or you're going to have to turn back to let any really thing go. So, the foot position you're starting here was basically almost a boxing style stance with the power hand in back, your cross, and the lead hand in front being the jab, quick hand. So you almost got like a boxer style stance, almost a little bit more squared though. Boxers can get away with turning sideways and getting lower with their feet open more, pushing off more weight on the front leg. If you're to do that in a Muay Thai fight, you're susceptible for front leg attack. So that's why you're going to keep majority of your weight on your back leg, your base leg. Working almost out of a boxer style stance, almost completely squared, just on a side angle, so that shoulder's leading. You're standing here on the bag. As you work a pivot, notice the foot position. I turn on the ball, the front part of my foot. To let myself into a kick, I pivot. Notice the gap between my knees is open. I could rest a drink on the top of my leg. It's stable. My leg, my shin bone is parallel with the floor. My arm is extended for balance. The best way to explain it is to go into the bag, starting from your basic foot position, and rest your shin bone where you would feel comfortable, where you think someone's leg would be. Depending on your height, legs are going to differentiate on the bag. Most people, though, usually aim a little too high. You want to hit the center of the thigh, right between the top of the knee and the middle of the groin. So, starting from that basic foot position, to pivot, put your shin bone on the bag and rest it there. As you take it off, it's one move. It's not little steps. It's one move. Just pivot your left foot. That's that turn. So now, instead of your left toe facing forward, you've turned your foot open. This is the open position. Now, you're telling your hips they can go further. The key to the foot position is like a boxer style stance. You're trying to tell your body what to do by moving your feet. You're trying to get your hips more room to swing. From this position, you're telling your hips they're going forward. So as long as you're moving forward in a striking move, you're fine. Your lead leg, your toes facing forward. Your base leg is following with you. It's pushing off the weight. From there, though, if you need to go into a left leg kick, you're no longer pivoting your left leg because you're kicking with that leg. You want to pivot the back leg. So keep in mind, whatever leg you want to kick with, pivot the other leg. Pivot. That turn. Key here, like someone's putting out a cigarette. They put it out, they're going to put it out with their foot. I'm sure people have seen someone put out a cigarette before. That pivot style move helps you turn your hips to an open position. So the basic foot position here is supporting your weight over your hips, being able to turn them without putting your feet together or your knees. So you're planted almost into the floor. The pivot's like a screw. You screw that foot into the floor. Now you're ready to swivel your hips over. So when attacking the bag or an opponent, it's like you're going through the bag on a screw. Screw your foot into the floor and then pull your hip over. You're going right leg kick. Screw your foot into the floor. So if I'm kicking with my right leg, I'm going to screw my left leg, opposite leg. I'm going to screw that foot in the floor and kick. I kick the bag off the pivot. So I pivot, bring the knee straight in, boom, kick. Going really slow. My chin stayed right in the center. Notice as the pivot, everything, my head was still in the center. Kick the bag, boom, it comes right back. Back into the basic foot position. To break it down even more, you can say A and B. A being the lead, B being the base. Almost like a boxer style stance in that foot position. Common factor, people open their arms high, thinking that in Muay Thai, if your arms are open, it's a better stance. From here, you're more susceptible for straight-in attack or hook punches. You have to be careful. I would recommend keeping your hands in close against the body, utilizing Western-style boxing technique and foot position with Muay Thai. So keep your hands in. Don't let your hands go out. From that foot position, you're working off the pivots now, getting the power of your hips by the positioning of your foot. Pivot, like you're screwing yourself into the floor. So if you kick with your right leg, pivot your left leg. If you kick with your left leg, pivot your right leg. Pivot, you're using the ball of your toe, the front part, to turn. Key here, try to turn the heel towards the target or the bag or your opponent. So if I kick now left leg, I'm pivoting my right leg, my back leg. I'm not going to switch my feet. I'm just going to pivot that foot. When I pivot, I don't walk my knees out. I keep them slightly bent. So I'm going to pivot my right leg and kick with my left. Pivot, so now the heel is facing in, kick with my left. I'm going low leg kick. From that basic foot position now, I've gone left leg kick. All I do is pivot my back foot. Pivot, kick. Key here, my hips and my base stayed open. Put the foot down. If you start to kick and you're switching up the feet, you're telling your body to do different things. Start with one foot position and keep that foot position. Work until you've got enough tools in that foot position to where you feel comfortable enough that you could do it blindfolded. Then after a while, you can move further when you become more advanced into working off following. Right now, I definitely recommend staying in the basic foot position from the right-handed style, left leg in front, standing almost like a boxer, yet the weight is on the back leg. So you transfer the weight to the back. So we've gone over the pivot now. The almost screwing of the foot into the floor and swinging the hips over. Remember, you want to pivot the opposite foot you kick with. In Muay Thai, the tools you're using are your fists, your elbows, your kneecaps, and your shin bones. You're trying to separate bone against muscle. From there, you can do just about anything you'd like to do, as long as you have a good, stable foot position. Now, applying the foot position to the attacking of the bag, I'm working on trying to keep my balance in my base solid while I attack the bag. Since we're going to break it down, we're going to be using the bag first. I'm going to start with the right leg kick. Using my back leg, my base leg, I'm going to pivot that left foot. Always remember, when hitting the bag or kicking the bag or hitting your opponent, you want to pivot the opposite foot you're using to kick with. Now, kicking the bag, you want to make sure you're hitting the bag with your shin bone. Starting with your back leg first, which is the easiest to start with. Being that most of you are right-handed, going out of the right-handed foot position, you're going to have more balance kicking with your right leg. So, I'm going to start with that pivot. I'm going to first start slow. Pivot your left foot like you're screwing it in. Now it's in the open position. My foot is open. Drive your knee forward and then turn so that your foot is parallel with the floor. Boom. Right leg kick. Left foot pivot. That's my left foot position. It started forward, and as I kicked, I just turned. Boom. Kick. Now with the kick, make sure that your leg is relaxed. You don't want to be trying to flex your muscles as you do this. Anything like that is causing way too much tension in your body, and you're flexing out your muscles. It's like you're holding yourself in a permanent flex. You're wasting valuable energy you can use on striking. So, from that foot position, right leg kick. I pivot the left foot and I attack the thigh, making sure that my right leg is relaxed, but that's where the pressure's at. The weight is pushing on the pedal on my back foot. I'm going to bend my left knee slightly and pivot that foot as I kick, like I'm trying to chop through the bag, keeping your hips powered. Kick the bag and then put your foot back. Starting in the A and B position. Left foot's on A, right foot's on B. I'm going to kick the bag with my B foot and put it right back. Right leg kick. I put my foot back after I hit the bag. I put my foot right back where I started from after I hit the bag. There's no extra steps. By putting together a puzzle, you don't want any extra pieces. Here, same thing. You don't want any extra steps. Extra steps are throwing off your base. They put you in an awkward position. Keep it as simple as you possibly can. So the simpler it is, the easier it is. Sometimes the more it just flows. So you're going right leg kick. You're trying to turn your shin bone across the bag. Your leg's relaxed. You're pivoting your left foot. Now, left leg kick. There's variations on the left leg kick. We're going to go straight off. Now, going straight off, remember that if you're going to kick with your left leg, you want to pivot your right foot. Vice versa. So, on the bag, applying the left leg kick, bend the right knee slightly and pivot the right foot. So you're turning the right foot into the open position. When you turn the foot into the open position, you're telling your hips, your body, you can go all the way through now. So, left leg kick, lead leg. I pivot the ball of my right toe. Turn that foot like you're screwing it into the floor. It's in. Now just drive your hips over. And now if you can make that motion simultaneously, the pivot of the foot and the turn of the hips, that's speed on the kick. But since we're going from the basics, you want to start slow so that you feel like you have proper balance. Remember, you're trying to kick the legs. If you try kicking too high, you're going to really feel like you're off balance. Again, keep your head in the center and make sure that when you pivot, It's like you're screwing your foot into the floor. Don't try to pivot a totally flat foot. It's kind of hard. Make sure that you're barefoot so that you can turn easily on the ball of your foot. Pivot and drive the hips. So we're going to go left leg kick, straight off. Left leg kick, straight off. You could go left inside leg kick. It's different. You're using that inside leg kick like a jab. You just flip it. So the foot position is you put weight on the ball of your right toe and you snap it like a jab. Same thing. So the foot position for this one is put the weight on the ball of your right toe and kick. Straight off, straight off, straight off. Left leg, front leg. Key here, don't switch your feet. Don't put your feet on the same plane. Make sure you have A, foot position, and B, foot position, like a boxing stance. Keeping the weight on the majority of the back base leg foot. You're just like this. Basic foot position attacking the bag is to stay lead leg facing the bag. Make sure when you kick, you try to turn the hips and the pivot at the same time. Exhale so that you get the air out, so you can get a full twist through. Basic foot position. Feet are flat. You're trying to keep most of the weight on the back leg. You're driving yourself forward. Small steps. Never put your feet on the same plane. A and B. The pivot. And when you kick with your right leg, you pivot your left leg. You kick with your left leg, you pivot your right leg. The open foot position. Heel is facing towards the bag. That's a half, all the way through. Depending on the speed of the kick and where it's going, the foot position will differentiate. That's basic foot position, starting for basic tools of Muay Thai. Now that we've finished with the basic foot position of Muay Thai, just remember that you don't want to get frustrated. There's no such thing as a dumb question, and have a good workout.